الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we welcome Dr. Ashraf Moorad, a personality that speaks all over the country, based in Durban, but I think he's a Musafir most of the time. I will reintroduce him at the end of his discourse. We welcome him and we thank him for being here.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the noble and universal greeting, the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm very privileged to be here at the Jumuah Masjid in Milnerton again. I was here many years ago and it's a privilege to be here, and I'm grateful to Maulana Hassan Walele for this opportunity to be with my brothers and sisters and to share some of my findings as an academic but also as a believer. This is my 99th Jummah lecture, alhamdulillah, around the country. My topic today is Almighty Allah, the believer's refuge. Almighty Allah, believer and refuge. These are the key words that we are focusing on. Almighty Allah. Who is aware of Almighty Allah? A believer. A believer is one who is aware of Allah, is aware of the greatness of Allah and experiences the grace of Allah. That's who a believer is. And a refuge, what is the refuge? It is a shelter. It is a protection. So Almighty Allah, the believer's refuge. I've studied psychology and support people usually with psychological issues, and psychology means the mind, usually. And we give the mind a very strong position in society. But I'm here to tell you that your mind is not really what is the ultimate resource within you. And an overdeveloped mind or an overuse of the mind can be a problem. The mind is interested in learning and acquiring facts, but the being is interested in awareness. Awareness and learning are two different things. You can learn and you can keep learning and you'll have more facts, but it will not change you. It will not change you and nothing will change. We see that every day people know so much. They know so much about Islam, but very little about Iman. The Quran makes a distinction between Islam and Iman in the verse that says that while the Bedouin Arabs may surrender their will in Islam, Iman has not entered into their hearts. Okay? Iman has not entered into their hearts. I'm here to speak to you about awareness, not to teach you any more information to learn, but to make you aware of something. Aware of something. That we as Muslims are given a guidance in the glorious Quran, a guidance of who our Creator is, who we are, what our lives are about, and what happens in the hereafter. We are aware. The unbelievers are not aware. Through our awareness of truth, of haqq, we believers are transformed. It is the acceptance of truth, haqq, one of the names of Allah, that we are transformed and our lives are changed. Many of us are worshipping, but our worship does not transform us. And our prayers are not changing our lives. And that's because you might know a lot but aware of very little. There are people at university where I come from who know a lot but aware of very little. And the most important awareness is the awareness of Allah. Are you aware of Allah? Do you know who Allah is? Do you take the time to become present and become aware of Allah? You may take the time to perform rituals. You may take the time to recite the Quran. This is not the same as taking the time and becoming aware of Allah. To exit time and space, to exit the mind, to exit our everyday mode of operating the mind that we are championing, that the schools and the universities champion, that you may think is the greatest resource. I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I've got a degree, I know how to run a business. I. You are not first. Your intelligence means nothing. There is the one that is first in a unique way. The one that was never born and the one that will never die. There is the one that is unique beyond anything in this world. There is He, the unique one, supreme in greatness and sufficiently gracious. There is only He. There is only He. Yet we think other things matter. We think what is happening in our life matters. And we think what has happened in our life matters. And we think what could happen in our life matters. I tell you this, 100 years ago none of us were here. And 100 years from now none of us will be here. Nothing we think matters here matters. The only thing that matters is Allah, the unique one. Qul huwallahu ahad. Becoming aware of Allah is a believer's objective. That is our objective. Because you can worship, but that doesn't mean you're worshipping Allah. Many people worship. The kafirs worship sometimes. The mushriks worship. Those who deny Allah worship money, worship their business. Maybe if I had more money, I'd feel better. Maybe if I had a bigger business, I'll feel better. Maybe something in this world has power. Those who deny Allah associate powers and they think that the world has the power to take care of them. My own mind can look after me. My own business can take care of me and my children. I can provide for my family. It is kufr to deny Allah, who takes care of everything always. The originator from whom all life originates, the only one that can care for all life, who has cared for us, is caring for us, and will always care for us. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. The kuffar, the unbelievers, they deny that. They don't know. They don't know Allah. I can't see Him, I can't hear Him, I can't smell Him, I can't taste Him, I can't touch Him. We mu'min, believers, believe in the unseen. That which is not perceived through our bodies, through our sight, our hearing, our nose, it is perceived through our being, our way. Those who see beyond the world are believers into the Creator of the world. And if you do not take time to become aware of Allah, you are not worshipping Allah. It is about Allah, it is not about us. We do not go to Allah to ask Him for help. Like, it's me, Allah, it's all about me. Let me say that properly. Our priority is not to let Allah know about us and our problems. Our priority is to know Allah. Allah is my welfare. In Him do I place my trust, and to Him do I turn. You don't run to Him to say, do you know about me and my problems and what I'm going through? Please know about me and my problems, help me. We go to Allah for His sake, to be aware of His greatness. In becoming aware of the greatness of Allah, we are transformed. If your worship is not transforming you, I don't know what you're doing. Because verily, in the remembrance of Allah, your hearts find assurance. You find security only in Allah, not in the world. What do you think is going to make you feel better? If I had more money, I'll feel more secure. You won't. There's nowhere in the world you can go and you can feel peace. Somewhere in the world we can all go and we'll just pitch up there and we'll feel peace because that place gives us peace. No. There's nothing in the world you can consume or have that will give you peace. Allah is the source of peace. Become aware of Allah. Look at His beautiful names. As-Salam. Do you take the time to be aware of Allah? Do you take the time to be aware of Allah as peace? Because that's not in the world. That is within your heart. That is in your being. There's verses of the Quran that say Allah is not impressed. This is my easy understanding of it. Allah is not impressed with what you earn and what you do and how you live and all your successes. Allah is interested in what's in your heart, the state of your heart, and how you carry yourself in the world. A Muslim, a mu'min, is concerned with the state of our heart and how we carry ourselves in the world. First, you can concern yourself about your business, about your love life, about other areas of your life, your marriage. You can do all that. But first is the directive. On the day of judgment, neither will your children nor will your wealth avail thee except those who bring to Allah a purified heart. The heavens and the earth, Hadith Qudsi tells us, cannot contain Allah. But it is the heart of a believer that can. A mu'min. Are you a believer? You might be a Muslim, but are you a believer? We want to become all sorts of things. When I grow up, I want to be and become. The first thing to be and become is a believer. It means nothing. You can go to school and do well. You can go to university and achieve the highest achievements. Those places don't tell you about Allah. What intelligence is there? You might even think you're so smart because you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you run a business. You might even believe you are intelligent. But you are not intelligent until you recognize the intelligence of Allah. Allah says, I am Allah. There is no God but me. There is no power but Allah. Allah is the only power. The believer knows that. Allah is the believer's refuge. And sufficient is Allah for the believer. You must be a believer. You must be a believer. If you want to experience, because that's what Allah says, I am Allah, there is no God but me, so worship me. Establish regular prayer for my remembrance. What are we doing here? Talking about Allah. Becoming aware of Allah. His greatness. He says, I created the jinn and the mankind that they may worship me. This is the purpose. We as Muslims and mu'mins, we live life on purpose, with meaning, with a mission. We know we are here not just from your birth to your death. I told you, 100 years ago you didn't matter, nothing you focus on matters. 100 years from now, your problems, your desires, whatever you live for and you're obsessed about in this world will not matter. The only thing that matters is Allah, the ever-living one. Only Allah is alive. Only Allah is alive. You're not alive. You think you're alive? Allah gave us the gift of experiencing being alive. Only Allah exists. He gave us the gift of existing. But how many of us acknowledge it? Thank you, Allah, that I am. That I exist because of your grace. No. I need to make sure I get a good degree, and I need to make sure my business is doing well. I need to make sure my husband loves me. I need to make sure my children, whatever. Muslims and mu'mins live on purpose. Our purpose is to worship Allah. Is to become aware of Allah and experience Allah. It is said in the glorious Quran that Allah created the heavens and the earth and all that is within, so that we human beings can know that He has power over all things. Allah has power over all things, and His knowledge understands everything. We don't want to accept that Allah has power over all things. I tell you, as a psychologist, as a person who's working with people. We want to believe money has power and we need to get it. We look for power in this world. If I have a better job, I'll feel better. I told you nothing in the world is going to give you peace. Nowhere in the world can you go. It is in the awareness of Allah that hearts find assurance. Peace, Allah is peace. It's His attribute. It is not in the world. Peace, like Allah, is an attribute of it's always eternal. Peace doesn't grow old, brothers and sisters. Like the other names of Allah. Al-Wadud, the loving. Love doesn't grow old. Love and peace, the attributes of Allah, are not in time and space. They are not here where your body is. You are not even here where your body is. It says Allah is closer to you than your own jugular veins. If Allah is closer to you than your body is, who are you? The disbelievers think they are their bodies. The disbelievers are obsessed with their bodies. I don't want to grow old. I don't want to die. We as mu'mins, we look forward to our death. We look forward to our reuniting with our Creator. We fear no death. I don't fear death. I am a mu'min. I live for beyond this world. I worship Allah. I am aware of His greatness with every passing day. There is no power in this world. Nothing can hurt me. Nothing can harm me. Nothing can help me. Nothing can heal me. Nothing in this world has power. But we want to believe something in the world can help us. And somebody can help us. Maybe the lawyers can. Maybe the doctor can. Maybe the cancer doctor can. There's no power in this world. But Allah is all power. We don't know what the meaning of power is. We don't know. The Quran says, say to the believers. It doesn't say to the Muslims or it says to the mu'min. It doesn't say to everybody, an-nas, mankind. It says, say to the believers, put your faith and trust in Allah. Allah is sufficient for the believers. When you think, no, I think He is sufficient, but I think I need a little bit more from this world and something to change, you're not a believer. I hate to break that to you. If you associate powers, if you deny Allah, you think your own intelligence is the only intelligence, you think you depend on you depend on the things of this world, you associate powers with Allah, you think there's power in this world, you are not a believer. A believer places their faith and trust in Allah. A believer is aware of Allah. That nothing really exists but Allah. Nothing really. Allah is the first and the last. He is the originator of us and everything. He is the primary carer of humanity. There is no other carer. It's because of Him that we are and we continue to be. It's because of Him that life is and continues to be. In every moment, a believer is aware of this, and in every moment, a believer experiences security. You see, the believers and the non-believers are not the same. Those who know and those who don't know are not the same. They're not. They're not. This is not making separation between the people and causing problems between people. Why call some people believers and call other people non-believers? This is not about segregation. This is about becoming aware of who is really aware. That's all it is. Who knows that there is all power with Allah and Allah is sufficient for you? Who knows that? Who experiences that? Who has no fear? Who has faith? Who releases into the care of Allah every day? These are the believers. The Quran tells us that believers have Allah, the non-believers have no one. And the Quran tells us that Allah is sufficient for the believers. We don't need anybody. We don't need anything. We don't need anybody and anything to change. We ourselves don't even need to change ourselves. What do you mean? I thought I'm supposed to be perfect. No. You're supposed to be humble and sincere. A believer is not obsessed with becoming a perfect human being. A believer is focused on Allah and His greatness and His grace. A believer is aware that Allah is peace. And a believer experiences the peace that is from outside time and space through his worship. Worship is your connection with Allah outside time and space. The absolute, the eternal. What does eternal mean? No beginning, no end. Where is that? Where is no beginning and no end? It's not in this world. The heart of a believer, peace, salam. love. Look at our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The most caring, loving human being, compassionate human being who ever walked the earth. The greatest leader that has ever been and will ever be. No greater human will ever exist. A believer is interested in the caring of Allah and to emulate the caring of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we have a mission. A believer has a mission here. To go beyond getting the mind and the mind being lost and lost in this world. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy this world. I love enjoying this world. Make shukr. Allah says, which of the favors of your Lord do you deny? He wants us to receive it and enjoy it. A believer is interested in the natural way. Health, satisfaction, fulfillment in a natural way. I don't see many people living the natural way today. People are stressed and strained. People are trying to get more and more. People are trying to change things. I don't see fulfilled human beings and content human beings. A believer is on a mission to become aware of Allah and experience the change that happens within them as they move from their heads into their hearts. That is our purpose here. To experience Allah as the holy. Do you know what that word means, the holy? Doesn't mean you see me dressed in a certain way, speaking a certain way, holy. No, Allah is Qudus, the holy. When you become aware of Allah as the holy, the pure, Allah is the pure, free from defects, flawless, compassionate. You are changed. You are not the same person. Transformation occurs when you recognize Allah and you experience the security. Allah is the grantor of security, not the government, not your boss, not your husband, not your children. A mu'min is one who is secure. Security does not come from this world. It will never make you secure. Nothing. You'll think today I'm unhappy because of this. Let me change it. Tomorrow I'm unhappy about that. Let me change it. If I had more of this, if this was different, I'll be happy. The only reason you're unhappy is you're not aware of Allah and His greatness and His grace upon us. Allah says in the glorious Quran that He created us from our mother's wombs, delivered us from our mother's wombs, gave us hearing and sight, gave us intellect and affect, feeling, that we may be grateful. Allah says that if you try to count the blessings of Allah, you never will. But most of us, what? I don't have this. Help me with that. I need more of this. If you can't experience security now, nothing needs to change in your world. Now, you become aware of Allah and His greatness, you become aware of Allah and His grace. Now, worship and prayer. Now, nothing needs to change. The change is within us. That's the only change. And you don't even have to change yourself. I'm not saying sit on the musalla day in and day out. I didn't even say that. It starts off verily with the remembrance of Allah. You can remember Allah when you get up in the morning without wudu. You can remember Allah while you're driving your car. You can remember Allah anytime. There's no ceremony. You don't have to even have wudu. No postures. You can remember Allah. There's no reason to not remember Allah. To become aware of Him. To experience His greatness. We want to be people who glorify Allah consciously. When you say, glory be to Allah, you must know what you're talking about. It mustn't be words coming off your lips, reading a tasbih. You must know the glory of Allah from within your heart. When you say, glory be to Allah, you must feel that. When you say praise be to Allah, you must feel that. When you say thanks be to Allah, you must know what you're talking about. His greatness and His grace. Not I'm just taking the tasbih, words out of my lips. You can do that. It is awareness, not learning. There's nothing that you need to learn. You need to be aware of Allah and His grace. You need to look and see. The Quran says the signs of Allah. Among His signs there are so many. He created us from one soul that we may take partners from among ourselves. That He put love and compassion in our hearts. That we may dwell and eat with each other in tranquility. He thought about everything for you. You don't have to think about anything. Your sight, your hearing, your mind. air to breathe, everything is because of Him. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. He is the originator. He is the carer of humanity, supreme carer. He is the most considerate of us. We have hands and feet. We have minds to think. We have choices. I choose to do this. It is the choice that Allah gives me. I use my choice for good. Allah gives me speech, ability to talk. I use it for good. Not always before. I used to swear. I used to talk ill about others. I used to speak about all the things in the world. Now I talk about Allah at least once a day. Imagine if you couldn't talk, what your life would be like. You wouldn't understand. Allah has compassion for us. To recognize His greatness is the change within us that is required. Don't try and be religious. I must change overnight and be somebody I'm not, and I act holy. A believer is aware of the greatness of Allah and the grace of Allah. That's all. From there, everything else will change. Don't try and straighten your husbands out, and don't try and straighten your wives out and your children out. Speak about Allah in your homes every day. Speak of the greatness of Allah. Speak of His compassion, that Allah doesn't need us to be different. That while we are as we are, He loves us and has compassion for us. He is Kareem, the most generous. In every moment His generosity is upon us. We don't have to be different. This is the compassionate nature of Allah. He overlooks our sins. Don't try and not make sins. Don't go out and try and make them either. But don't be obsessed with yourself and trying to be perfect. It's the awareness of Allah. It's the awareness of Him. Sincerity and humility. Approach Allah as you are. Whatever standing and status you are in your life, it doesn't matter. You come to mosque on a Friday and you don't hear about Allah any other day of the week. Or you might come to mosque and might be sleeping in the back and just thinking, why do I have to come here? If I don't come here, bad things might happen to me. Even you, it's okay. Become aware of the greatness of Allah and the compassion of Allah. Even if you don't get on a prayer mat, become aware of the greatness of Allah and the compassion of Allah. And I end with this, that we have been given a great powerful tool, a great powerful technology. Allah has given us spiritual technology. One of them is dua, the weapon of the believer, not the weapon of everybody. Only a believer can wield dua. That's another topic for another day. Only a believer. The prayers of those without faith is nothing but vain prayers, the Quran tells us. But Allah has given us spiritual technology. The believer has power with and through Allah. We can connect with Him directly and invoke Him directly. And one of the things we have is what I began with, which is A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. That I not seek, apparently we take refuge with Allah. We don't seek, we take refuge, because Allah is already all powerful and He is enough for the believer. And if there's a refuge there, we take that refuge, we claim that refuge. So, A'udhu, I claim the eternal refuge, that is Allah, from the whisperings of Shaitan, because Shaitan is not going to leave you alone until you become a believer, because it is said, indeed, over my believing servants, there is no authority of Shaitan upon them. If you are conscious of Allah, and if you are aware of His greatness and His grace, those whisperings will come, strange thoughts in your mind. You'll just look beyond them. See? It says, indeed, those who are conscious of Allah, when an impulse touches them from Satan, they remember and at once they have insight. The most important thing is to claim the refuge that is there, to celebrate that there is a refuge for the believer. The believers have no one. The believers are in hell in this world, the unbelievers are in hell in this world, and they're going to be in hell in the next. Look at how they live. Bothered by everything, upset by everything, controlled by everything. No peace, no love, no joy, no appreciation, no patience. See, what do you want for you? The question is, you want the peace of Allah, the love of Allah, the support of Allah, or do you want to live feeling alone? So that's what I end with. that may you recognize the refuge that you have. Not that you must try and get this refuge, that you have this refuge. And that you claim that refuge, at the very least. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. So with that, I have just one more thing to say. There is a CD available, an MP3 CD. It's got about 12 of my lectures and a bonus track. It's about 6 hours or so. It is available. There's a few copies available at the door after the mosque. It's a cost of 100 rand. 20% of that will go to the running costs of the mosque, and you are welcome to obtain that if you want to share this with your families, etc. And again, I am grateful to Maulana Hassan Walele for giving me this opportunity to be with my brothers and sisters and to remember Allah together. It's a privilege to be a believer and to be with other believers. We are a community, joined in the worship of Allah and the emulation of the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All praise, glory and thanks be to Allah. His choicest blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We say Jazakumullah to Dr. Ashraf Moorad, who's been here after a long time, probably 5-6 years ago, if I remember correctly. But we welcome him and we thank him for being here and sharing his thoughts and his inspiring discourse that he's given to us. May Allah bless him. He travels around the country, based in Durban, qualified in psychology and various sciences. And he's also a radio personality, TV personality, and I presume a Facebook personality. But having said that, again, thank you, Dr. Saab. It was most inspirational.